जय हिंद एवरीवन, आई विवेक पांडे वेलकम बैक इन टारगेट डिफेंस फोर्सेज। क्या आप आने वाली एसएसबी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं या अपनी एएफएसबी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं एंड आर लुकिंग फॉर द इन्फॉर्मेशन रिगार्डिंग इंडियन एयरफोर्स और आपको मिल नहीं पा रही है इंडियन एयरफोर्स की इन्फॉर्मेशन एक जगह, देन डोंट वरी, दिस वीडियो इज़ जस्ट फॉर यू। क्योंकि इस वीडियो में सुगंध जो अभी एएफएसबी देने जा रही हैं, शी इज़ ऑल्सो एसएसबी एस्पायरेंट, उन्होंने एक ब्यूटीफुल प्रेजेंटेशन दी है जो काफ़ी नॉलेजेबल है अबाउट इंडियन एयरफोर्स। तो इस वीडियो के अंत तक ज़रूर देखें, यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट बेनिफिटेड। और अगर आप भी अपने आने वाली एसएसबी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, आर ए सीरियस डिफेंस एस्पायरेंट एंड आर लुकिंग फॉर अ प्लेटफॉर्म वेर यू कैन गेट practice sessions that on daily basis that to till your SSB, then my dear friends, let me tell you one thing, you are at the right place. Just provide your details in the given WhatsApp number, rest we will take care of, and then get ready to be the next AIR1. So here comes the video.
Today's presentation is India-Pakistan relations. So I would like to start with how the relations, like the very beginning. India-Pakistan relation is one of the most complex association of India, like one of the most complex relationship that India shares with its with its neighbors. And it started in 1947 with the partition under the Redcliffe Award. And India and Pakistan have a boundary of 3,323 kilometers. And the country shares uh, linguistic, cultural, geographical, and economic links. And the complex relation is since independence due to political and historical reasons. And India desires peaceful and friendly and cooperative relations with Pakistan. And it wants a peace environment of free from violence and terror. And the boundary of India and Pakistan, India shares is connected with Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, and Jammu Kashmir and the Ladakh. Now, talking about the conflicts. So, as I mentioned, the conflict started from 1947 only. So, there have been 4 wars between India and Pakistan. The first was in 1947. It was the first Kashmir war. In this, the Pakistan captured 1/3 portion of the Kashmir, and now it is called the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. And the Maharaja of Kashmir signed an instrument of accession with the Indian government for military help. And the war of 1947 ended in 1949 after UN intervened, leading to a ceasefire. And the second war was in 1965, which was the second war of Kashmir. In this war also, the UN mandated ceasefire. And after this war, in 1966, Tashkent Agreement was signed to withdraw the pre-war lines and restore the economic and diplomatic relations. The third war between India and Pakistan was in 1971, which was the Bangladesh Liberation War. In this war, India launched a coordinated land and air and sea assault on East Pakistan, after which Pakistani army surrendered at Dhaka, and India and Pakistan signed the Shimla Agreement in 1972, and they agreed to settle disputes by peaceful means. And the fourth one was the Kargil War in 1999, and in this, the Pakistani forces and Kashmiri fighters occupied strategic positions in Indian side of line of control, and in Kargil. And the war was like the Indian army and Indian armed forces pushed the enemy to the other side of LOC, and Indian Air Force played an important role in it. And Operation Safed Sagar was conducted by Indian Air Force, and it airlifted the troops and directly attacked the enemy on the positions in remote locations. And the aircrafts used in the 1999 Kargil War were Mi-17 and Jaguar. Now, coming to the some other conflicts between India and Pakistan were the Operation Meghdut in 1984, in which Pakistan tried to reinforce its claim on Siachen Glacier and flew its troops to Siachen Glacier. The Indian Air Force flew its troops to Siachen Glacier and secured the area of around 3,300 kilometer squares. Uh, Some other conflicts are continuously there between India and Pakistan, including the insurgency in Kashmir Valley in 1980s and 1990s. And in 1998, both the countries successfully tested their nuclear weapon capabilities. But in 2001, there was an attack on Indian Parliament in New Delhi by Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, and it was the last event of the phase of the aggression between the two countries. After it came another phase between the India and Pakistan relations, which was the phase of reconciliation between 2001 to 2008, and it started with the Lahore Declaration, uh, in which it started start of the Delhi Lahore bus service in 1999, and several measures were taken for confidence building between the two countries, and they were informing of each other country of the missile test, and the second agreement covering the nuclear non-aggression was signed, while the first agreement was of non-nuclear attack agreement was signed in 1988. And in this phase, the Vajpayee principles of Insaniyat, Jamhuriyat, and Kashmiriyat were there, and they helped in reducing differences in India and Pakistan. In 2004, the composite dialogue process started, and it was a bilateral. In this process of composite dialogue, the bilateral meetings were held between officials at various levels of government, including the foreign ministers, foreign secretaries, military officers, etc. In 2008, India joined a TAPI agreement on gas pipeline project. TAPI was a framework agreement between Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. And in 2008 only, several trade routes were opened between the two countries. But this phase ended in 2008 with the Mumbai terror attacks. So the 26/11 terror attacks, which were planned by Pakistani intelligence agencies, ended the phase of reconciliation between India and Pakistan. Now, talking about the phase of passive bilateralism between 2008 to 2015, in this period there was very low interaction between the two countries. The dialogue process was suspended, and it was only limited to the official level talks majorly. But in 2014, the neighborhood first policy was launched by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and it accorded priority in South Asian countries in its foreign policies. So the Prime Minister level visits between the two countries started, and goodwill gestures were shown by both the sides, like the fishermen released by Pakistan. The Pakistan released the fishermen, and the Pakistan PM invited PM Modi in swearing. Pakistan PM was invited to the PM Modi swearing in ceremony, and the Indian Prime Minister also visited Pakistan in 2015. It was the first decade. It was the first visit in the decade, and it had a very significant role in changing India's approach to Pakistan. Now, talking about the phase of renewed aggression between 2015 to 2019. In 2015, the relations started deteriorating when the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project was signed by China and Pakistan. It was an infrastructural project, and it affronted to Indian sovereignty, as it passed through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which was the Indian territory. Then the bilateral relations were entered by a series of attacks from Pakistan, including the Gurdaspur terror attacks in 2015, Pathankot attacks in 2016, Nagrota attack in 2016, Uri attack in 2016, the Amarnath Yatra attack 2017, and the Pulwama attack in 2019. India responded to the Pulwama attack by carrying out a surgical strike, and it was named as the Balakot airstrike in the Pakistan region. It revoked the the India also revoked the most favored nation status from Pakistan, and abrogation of Article 370 from Kashmir later downgraded the diplomatic relations between the two countries. Pakistan launched a global diplomatic campaign to attract international support for Pakistan's position in Kashmir. Now, talking about the various reasons of conflict between India and Pakistan. Um, uh, so, starting with the Kashmir conundrum, there is a tug of war for Kashmir between India and Pakistan. The contest between identity of the two nations. Pakistan tries to alter the status quo in Kashmir by force, and India is content to retain its portion of Kashmir without making serious efforts to change the situation on ground. Uh, Another reason include the fractured internal dynamics of Pakistan. In Pakistan, both army and the political parties fail to bring enduring stability, and it provides a political space for Islamic extremism. And due to this fractured policy, Pakistan could not develop an optimistic approach towards Kashmir and India. Army becoming increasingly entrenched in Pakistani politics, and it developed a vested interest in sustaining hostility with India in order to justify dominance. Another issues are the cross-border terrorism. Pakistan fuels terrorist activities into India based on the military doctrine of bleeding India with thousand cuts through separate and scattered terror events. And this leads to violent escalations and witnessed during the India's airstrike and Pakistan retaliatory actions, which severely limits and disrupts initiatives to build a stable relationship. Currently, the issue of drug trafficking is also prevalent in promoting terrorism in India. So the Pakistan is using various methods, including the drone technology and the providing drugs through tunnels and various other ways to India to disrupt the social order and also to promote terrorism in the region. And the boundary dispute between India and Pakistan, apart from Kashmir, India and Pakistan have not been able to come to terms on the exact boundary between the two nations in the north along the line of control, and in the west, the Sar Creek issue. Now coming to the water dispute between India and Pakistan. As a response to Pakistan-based cross-border terrorism, India has repeatedly called for abrogation of Indus water distribution mechanism, citing that blood and water cannot flow together. In the wake of Uri attack, Delhi suspended the biannual water talks and promised to fast-track projects to use hitherto unutilized water of the eastern rivers allocated to India via three national projects: the multipurpose Shahpur Kandi and Dams and the BS and Satluj River linking project. Now, coming to the fallouts of the above issues, there is a limited economic integration between the countries. The trade between the two enemy countries has been far lower that its potential, around 2 billion in 2018-19, due to the complicated and non-transparent and non-tariff and tariff measures. Without artificial barriers, this should be 30 billion US dollars. Cross-border trade usually follows the cycle of terrorist events, showing ups and downs. The stalled regional integration between the two countries, the intra-regional trade accounts for more than 5% of the South Asia's total trade, while it accounts for 50% of total trade in East Asia and the Pacific, and 22% in Sub-Saharan Africa. SAARC and SAFTA are the two also ineffective due to the conflictual relation between the two countries. Now coming to another issue, which is the costly arms race. In 2018, India allocated $57.9 billion or 2.1% of its GDP to support its troops, according to the reports from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Pakistan spent $11.2 billion, about 3.6% of its GDP, on its 6,53,800 troops. Also, both being a nuclear weapon states make South Asia a nuclear hotspot, especially owing to rising terrorism in Pakistan and weak safety measures. It affects India's external interest, and unfavorable Pakistan hurts India's long-term engagement in with the South Asia, Central Asia, and West Asia. The Pakistan is geostrategically more important in South Asia than India when it comes to issues like Afghanistan stability, Iraq. It plays an indispensable role for different countries like US, China, Russia for different reasons. The internationalization of dispute is also one factor. The Pakistan is using every available forum from animal husbandry to climate change to raise the Kashmir issue and to forward its poisonous propaganda campaign against India in international fora. Other issues between the two countries are like capture of fishermen, drug smuggling from the Golden Crescent, fake Indian currency sneaking through the western borders also loom large. The current events that were shaped, the recent events were the CA, NRC, and NPR issue that was being stripped by Pakistan, not just to create trouble in India but also internationally. The India's engagement with the US in Indo-Pacific is being balanced by Chinese increasing engagement and reliance on Pakistan propping it up against India. The Russia is opening up to Pakistan. During 2014 to 18, Russia was the third largest supplier of conventional weapons to Pakistan, naval cooperation, energy cooperation, and gas pipeline pact, etc., which is an unprecedented jolt to India. There is a ray of hope, like to solve the disputes between the two countries. For the normalcy in Kashmir, India should concentrate on restoring normalcy in Jammu Kashmir, mainstreaming the population, especially the youth, encourage investment in the state. Allying minority fears is in India through informed approach on issues like NRC, CA would unarm Pakistan at international forum. People to people contact at ground level, public opinion in both the countries could be molded through entertainment channels, media, and music. Further, cricket diplomacy can play a vital role in boosting the relations of the countries. Trade facilitation. The Pakistan is undergoing severe economic crisis and is on the verge of receiving further international sanctions. At this juncture, easing bilateral trade restrictions and facilitation of cross-border trade could address the trust deficit between the two countries. The international mediation efforts through the countries like US, China, and Russia, who have called for bilateral dialogue post 370, post the abrogation of Article 370, may provide the much needed and non-adverse bilateral relations dialogue between the two countries. Thank you.